Do not make a New Year's resolution this year. And if you've already made a resolution or you're watching this partway through the year and you may have given up on your resolution, stick around and I'm going to share an idea that will increase your chances of success and possibly even change your idea of success. We like to start things on a Monday, and Januaries feel like Mondays to the extreme. We can start with a clean slate, and so we set a New Year's resolution and we hope to start the year off right and finish the year off right. The fact is that if you look at any statistics, usually between 8 and 15% of people actually stick with their New Year's resolutions, and usually by February, 80% have given up. One of the biggest reasons people often give up on their New Year's resolutions is because they are absolutes. They're either win or lose, yes or no, pass or fail. It's some big goal that either you're going to succeed at reaching at the end of the year, or somewhere along the way you're going to fall and you're going to give up on. Instead of doing that this year, I'm going to suggest you make it a more or less year, or a more and less year. What do I mean by that? You're going to choose something that you're going to do more of and something you're going to do less of, or you're just going to choose a more or just a less, especially if you're someone that's typically going to try and achieve way too much, then it's probably best to either choose just a more or just a less. If we take one of the most common New Year's resolutions, to lose weight, instead of saying I'm going to lose 20 pounds this year, we can choose a little more of something and a little less of something, or we can choose just one or the other. So we could say maybe I'm going to be physically active 10 more minutes each day, or 10 more minutes in the whole week. And we can say I'm going to do less eating after 7 p.m. So every week I'm going to eat one less day after 7 p.m. And then you can reassess at the end of the week, you can reassess at the end of the month, you can reassess at the end of the year. It depends on what your more or your less is, or your more and your less is, but you can reassess as you go. The thing is, when you choose a more or a less, you're going to have success no matter what, because even if you don't make it one day and you miss that one day that you were planning on getting that physical activity, you have another opportunity. For example, if your New Year's resolution was going to be taking care of yourself better, then you can be specific and you can say, I'm going to go to sleep 10 minutes earlier each night. And that way you're getting 10 more minutes each night, and then you can increase it 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or you can create that habit, which is going to be a win regardless, and create that habit and just be getting 15 minutes extra sleep every night. People might have a financial goal, and maybe your New Year's resolution was going to be, or is typically, to get out of debt or to save money. So you can choose just to save $10 more each week, or you can choose to do less eating out each week. It's important to remember that your more or your less doesn't have to be just in the physical department. A lot of the time we think of things like, I'm going to quit something like smoking or drinking, or I'm going to exercise more, or I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to eat healthier, which are all excellent ideas, but it can be in the development department, it can be in relationships, it can be in work-home balance, it could be in the emotional, psychological, mental department. You can have a more or less year when it comes to career or friends, relationships in general, self-care, meditation, money. You can have a more or less year in all different areas. For example, if you would typically make a New Year's resolution that you're going to spend more time with family, be specific in a more and a less, or just a more or just a less. And you can say, I'm going to spend 10 minutes more with my family before bedtime each night, or I'm going to spend 10 minutes less scrolling on my phone first thing in the morning, or I'm going to spend 10 minutes more with my significant other just sitting around and talking, or I'm going to spend 10 minutes less scrolling on my phone when they're trying to talk to me. If you typically stay at work every single day late, then you can say, I'm going to stay late one day less this week. When the time hits that it's time to go, I'm going to be gone. Your more and less can be in different areas. Maybe your more is that you're going to sleep 15 minutes more each day, and your less is going to be, I'm going to snack less at night. And you can increase that as well. You could say, I'm going to eat after 7 p.m. one less time this week, and then next week maybe it's 2 times. So you can increase how often you do it, you can increase how long you do it. It depends on what you choose and what the category is. If your goal was to go out to fast food 1 time less each week because you typically go out a couple times a week, then maybe you're going to say, I'm going to go out to fast food only once this month and go with that as your less. Maybe your more will be a developmental more. So it'll be, I'm going to practice my music, or I'm going to do my hobby 10 minutes more every single week. And then the week after that, it can be, I'm going to do my hobby 30 minutes twice a week, and you can just increase on that, and then you're going to be building that habit, which is another great thing about the more or less goals. And then your less can be something in a completely different category, and my less is going to be in the financial area, and I'm going to eat out 1 less time each week. You can also switch it up each month. So in January, you could focus on relationships, and in February, you can focus on career. And the thing is, you can carry on whatever you were doing in January and add on whatever you're deciding to do in February. Or you can increase your more or your less that you were doing in January and continue that into February and March and April, and say you stick with relationships or personal care in January, February, March. You can switch it up in April. You can do whatever you want, but if you make it a more or less year, instead of having just some big resolution that you feel that you have to meet or reach, you're going to have success every single day. You're going to be winning every single day. I do suggest that you write down your more or your less for January, and I say January because, again, you can change it up in February. You can stick with it, or you can change it up and do something new. Whatever works for you, you're going to have those successes all throughout January. With a more or less year, it's about creating habits, creating routines, having those small successes every single day, and maybe it will push you for whatever your big goal would have typically been. But it's not about that big goal. It's about these little more and these less things that you're going to do on a regular basis. Your whole idea of success is going to change because you're not going to be thinking of this big thing at the top of the mountain that you have to reach. And if you miss it one day, then you failed. It's more about just these little steps that are going to help you every single day to be healthier, to learn something new, to improve your relationships, to improve your financial situation. If you had a more where you're going to spend 15 minutes more on mindfulness every single day and 15 minutes less taking work calls at home every single week, then you're going to be winning every single day. It's about the progress. The progress is just as important as the big end goal. You have absolutely nothing to lose. You're only going to have positives and wins and benefits from having a more or less year. Let me know what you think about having a more or less year down in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the next video. We feel like we have a clean start, a fresh slate, a chance to no, not a fresh slate. Feels like a clean start, a fresh slate. Clean slate? Fresh. Clean slate. Yes, okay. It's to start the year off right with a clean start. No. They're absolutes. They're either win or lose. Yes or nail. Nail? What the frick is nail? 10 minutes more practicing French.